Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binaries of all ages, welcome to How to Make a Literal Cat in your favorite RPG. I hope you're not here to learn to do character creation the right way, at least, because this is a cat creation podcast hosted by me, Joel Holland.
And me, Avalon Irwin. What's up?
What is up?
Oh, you know, a lot of things. Yeah.
A lot of things, huh?
Yeah, it's been a great week, everybody.
He's lying.
I am.
That's okay. We're here now.
Yeah, we're here to have some fun, you know?
Yeah, let's do that. So yeah, sorry if the energy's kind of weird. We've had a few delays because of a few emergencies, but we did manage to get the episode recorded the same week we normally do it.
Yeah, so, you know, that's a win in my book.
We take those.
Yeah, I'll take any W I can right now. God.
But anyway, we are going to be looking at Monster Care Squad by Sandy Pug Games.
I've heard quite a bit about this, but I've never seen it for myself, so I'm excited to get a look at it.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I've not played this, but I was there when it was being crowdfunded on Kickstarter. I've got a physical copy of the book, which is a pretty cool book, by the way. It's got art in it.
You know, we love art.
So, as I understand it, the premise of this RPG is you are playing as a group of healthcare type specialists, veterinarians, you could say, who go around and care for the giant behemoth beasts of this world.
Nice. That is. So you guys are just like roaming EMTs.
I suppose. So the game takes place in this land called Ald-Amura. I hope I'm pronouncing it close to correct.
Sounds right.
So I'm just going to read this off real quick, but we've got one thing to do before we actually make a character. So specialists are Monster Care Squad's heroes. They're trained experts in the field of monster medicine and the frontline warriors against the false gold. Everybody creates a specialist, even the guide. Every specialist has a number of important details. So these are your player characters. They are medical experts on treating monsters.
Heck yeah, dude.
So what I think is going on here is this is a world kind of like Monster Hunter.
I was about to say this is the good version of Monster Hunter.
Yeah. So like after the Monster Hunter hero clears out with his trophies and whatnot, you come in and treat the monster so that it's ready for the next guy. That's not your actual purpose, but like you know what I mean. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to be making a character in this game. But first, we need to go over a few details because we're not making a regular character, we're making a cat.
When will we ever make a regular character?
I don't know.
You know what? Let me answer that for you. It's never.
Yeah. Who would watch a podcast called How to Make a Regular Guy in Your Favorite RPG?
Probably nobody. Where's the flair? Where's the flavor, you know?
Yeah, besides that, like, there are character creation podcasts out there. We've had both members of a couple of characters on this show.
Yeah.
So, like, if you want people who do regular old character creation, that exists. We do cat creation here.
Yep. And speaking of the cat creation we have our own rules. Joel, would you like to start us off with those?
So these rules are to ensure that we stay on point, and these rules also take precedence over the game's rules. Rule number 1, we accept no cop-outs. We're making a cat, which is the exact animal that comes to mind when I say the word. No anthropomorphic races, no people turned into cats, no lions, tigers, or any other cop-out you can imagine. We're not doing that. We're a cat.
Oh, nice. Good rhyme.
Thanks.
But now it's time for Rule 2, which is we cannot use homebrew/house rules. If the rules in the rule book do not explicitly allow us to do something, we count it as a rule broken. And if we come across rules as written versus rules as intended, we go with whichever one tells us no. We're intended to play as a human, and we go with a cat, then that is a rule broken.
Yep, I have to imagine that no one was thinking that there would be cat healthcare workers in this game, so...
Yeah, probably not.
We will be the world's first cat surgeon. Anyway. If the game includes stats for a literal cat, those must be used or adapted to the game's character sheet.
Did we look that up? Do we have that?
I don't think that's a thing.
Yeah, I'm looking at the bestiary here. Doesn't look like there's a cat option.
No, we've got Zora, Gadomi, Arashi, Jerbaram, Hato, Balver, Shirin, Capernay, Aragnar, Colo Colo, Kachuka, Poka Poka, Snasher, Ayaha. I don't know if those are supposed to be pronounced as J's or H's.
I don't know.
Tane Somach, and Selma.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't see cat as an option here, so I'm gonna say no, that's not a thing.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we can move on to Rule 4 then, which is the character, class, background, playbook, job, what have you, must exist in the game's core rules or as part of an official expansion. We cannot use homebrew classes. They're not real.
Yep. Rule number 5 is the cat can learn any skill available to its class, even if it's not something a cat could normally be trained to use, or do.
Rule number 6 is if a tool would be physically impossible for a literal cat to use, even if comically downsized for them, they cannot use it. So this would be like your scissors, sewing needles, probably a sewing machine too, to be honest.
Yeah, cat might struggle with that. Rule number 7 is if a character sheet has a section that is meant to be filled out in collaboration with the whole table, we leave that blank so potential players can make it fit the group they're playing with.
We're all about that accessibility.
Yep.
And finally, rule number 8 is we must keep track of every rule that we break. We'll keep them in a list and say them at the end of the episode.
Yep. Usually it's just like the one that like they don't intend for us to play as a cat, but sometimes we have to break more than that. I forget what the record is. I'll have to Google it. There's probably not a thing on Google for that now that I say that. You know, Rule 7 this episode, it reminds me of something I saw someone say on Tumblr the other day, which I think would be a cool design philosophy to see return, which is that there was a time with like, especially older editions of D&D, that your character sheet was, like your character was not necessarily supposed to be bound to one party or even one game. It was intended with the idea that you could just take the same character sheet, throw it into another person's session for one game, and then go back to your normal table with it next week. And I think that would be a cool design philosophy to see return. So if anyone knows of any games like that, give us a call, because we've got the perfect wandering hero for your campaign.
Oh, absolutely. That is a very good like mechanic, being able to just like kind of hop around, you know. Makes for a better lore for your character.
Yeah, and hey, you can do it in Baldur's Gate 3, so like...
Wait, can you take a Baldur's Gate 3 character that you made into a different thing?
I'm pretty sure there's multiplayer in Baldur's Gate, isn't there?
Oh, there is. I just didn't know if you could like yoink one character into like somebody else's campaign.
Oh, no, I don't mean literally like that. I mean like... You could hop into one person's game and then hop into another friend's game later on with the same character.
True.
Which would be more of like how it works.
Yeah. But yes, cool design philosophy. So yeah, get at us if you got those.
Yeah, we've probably already done a couple games like that. I think External Containment Bureau, it kind of sounded like Mint played the game that way with her table. So...
Yeah.
But anyway, we should talk about Monster Care Squad, considering that's the game of the week.
Yeah, that's what we're on. So yeah, let's get into it. So up first, we've got a section called Trainings and Backgrounds. Every specialist has 4 trainings and 1 background that their player will invent, reflecting the conditioning, prior life experience, cultural knowledge, and passions of that specialist. The space on your sheet for these trainings and backgrounds has 1 of 5 stats written in the box. These stats are Force, Fine, Grit, Acuity, and Allure.
And we get a little description here. But I imagine most of these are kind of obvious, but like Force is physical strength, grand action, Fine, motor control, delicate action, Grit, stamina, fighting spirit. So I guess there's a little, like, this isn't like a combat-oriented game, considering you're all healthcare workers. You're all veterinarians. But then there's acuity, thinking and observation, allure, leadership, and charm.
We'll think about which ones a cat would use. I've already got a couple thoughts, but we'll get to that.
So trainings can be thought of as classes that your specialist took when they attended Monster Care Academy or special fields of study that their mentor passed on to them. These can be anything, but try to keep in mind the sorts of skills that might be useful when identifying a sickness, creating a cure, and applying it. Specificity is also a good idea. It may seem like a good idea to be as general as possible, but you're playing as a specialist in a team of other specialists, so specialize.
Makes sense.
Yeah. You also need to think about what training goes with each stat. There's no mechanical limit here, but a character who performs surgery with force is very different from one who performs it with fine.
How would you perform surgery with force?
Amputation.
Ooh, yeah, you're right, actually.
You also have one background. This represents the kind of person your specialist is outside their Monster Care Squad life. This can be interesting, skill, a valuable perspective, or even just a hobby your character has. Are they a good baker, hiker, born somewhere far, far away from here, astronomer? Those are all great backgrounds. Backgrounds also go into one of 5 stats. Since we're allowed to just kind of make this up, that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do have some examples down here. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
So once you've got your 4 trainings and 1 background assigned to unique stats, we have to assign numbers to them. We basically get a +1, +1, +0, +0, and -1. But first we need to come up with 4 trainings and a background so that we have 1 associated with each stat. The kind of thing that would be for force. So you were asking about this earlier. Bone setting, weight training, grappling, massage specialist.
Okay.
Fine would be surgery, acupuncture, suturing, or apothecarology.
Yeah.
You're an apothecary.
Yeah.
Grit would be resuscitation, methodical investigation, dentistry, or a musician.
Ah, I see. Dentistry, because you grit your teeth.
Yeah, that's... I mean,
No.
if you're going to be a monster dentist, you got to be prepared to get bit, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine performing a root canal on a dragon. That's got to be some scary stuff.
Yeah, and then acuity would be like thinking and observation. So they've got here for that library science, monster biology, engineering, analytical thinking. And then finally, allure is our leadership and charms. We got public speaking, small squad leadership, haggling, and interdisciplinary communication.
All right.
So you said you had some ideas on where to start here?
Oh, I was mostly thinking about like which stats would be good for a cat.
Oh, I mean, we can start there if we don't have it in mind exactly what disciplines we're doing yet.
Because I was thinking like allure, probably not huge, we're not big on leading, but like grit, maybe for like the stamina, fine, delicate actions could be considered, like leaping and cats are light on their feet, stuff like that. What am I thinking of? Like acrobatics type deal. Like those are things we can think about, but it might be better to just assign the stats once we make these trainings in the background. And I think
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I think with the idea of what kind of character we need to make in mind is obviously a monster veterinarian. That's our main thing.
Yes.
And we are a small cat without opposable thumbs. So our actual ability to perform medicine is going to be somewhat limited, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that we need to make one of our +1s our acuity stat. Because if we're able to be observant, if we're able to notice things others miss and report details in some way, then that would make us a useful asset to the team, even if we can't do medicine the way a human would.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a very good choice for a +1. So I'll go ahead and put that down here.
Okay.
I think allure might be a good one for the -1.
Do you think our cat's not charming?
Yeah, maybe. I guess it is technically charm, but the game I think is more focused on leadership, especially with like the examples that it gives with public speaking, small squad, interdisciplinary communication, haggling. So if it has a lot to do with like communication and stuff, like unless we get an ability that allows this cat to speak to humans, then I think it wouldn't be a stat that's super worth putting a point into.
I think I understand what you mean. And these examples are, like, we're not locked into choosing something on these lines, but I understand what you mean. So yeah, we can go ahead and put that as our -1. Unless we see, if we get an idea, then we can change it, like, before we've locked everything else in. But for now, since I don't have any idea of this cat's, like, actual specialties, then it's a good starting point.
Okay. Yeah, we'll put it, like you said, we can always change it later. These aren't set in stone.
Not until we get the specialties in place.
Okay. So
I kind of think I can't decide between force and grit for the other +1.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Like, I kind of want to say fine, but like I feel like if I made fine the +1, then I feel like we'd be locking ourselves into making that the background.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be fine, but because our fine skill would probably, if it's our +1, there's a limit to what cats can do, right? With their paws and their teeth.
Yeah. So it might be kind of restricting on, like, if we put that as our background.
Yep.
We might be able to go force here.
You think +1 force?
Yeah, because, like, I don't know the size of, like, the monsters in this, but I'm imagining, like, you know, maybe for, like...
I think they're big.
Yeah. So, like, maybe being able to, like, get onto and, like, trip up some monsters and stuff, you know, in order to, like, get them to stay put or stuff like that. Think we could get away with that.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. For now, let's do +1 there, and then our fine and grit, will be our zeros.
They'd both be zeros.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, for the audience's reference, the stat totals here that we have is -1 makes you a capable amateur. So, like, we're assuming a certain level of skill even with a -1 to your skill check. Although you're going to probably fail more than you succeed. A +0 would be a recent graduate. A +1 is a highly trained professional. And then we've got +2 is an expert with few equals. And +3 is a world-renowned master.
It's a pretty big bump.
Yep.
So what would a highly trained professional be in, like, acuity?
I feel like it has to be something along the lines of, like, observational, like, what's it called? Observational deduction or...
Yeah. Actually, hold on. I have an idea for acuity. I'm thinking, like you said, observational deduction, stuff like that. Since, you know, cats are smaller, being able to, like, locate an injured animal, like an injured monster, in, like, a confined area, maybe, you know? So, like, you know, in a cave or something, like, being able to kind of, like, sneak through, find this, and then come back to the group and guide them there.
Okay, so you're thinking, like
a scout.
Okay, I see what you mean. So our acuity skill, then, could be, rather than, like, book knowledge, like, I'm trying to think of how to say this in a smart specialty way, but, like, a professional guide or something like that.
Yeah, I'm also trying to think of, like, a word for it to make it a bit more concise. Like a seeker, maybe? The best word I can think of is a scout.
A scout or a guide or something along those lines would be probably the best description for what you're thinking of there.
Mm-hmm. That's an idea.
Okay.
I know, it does seem like this is more... Acuity seems to be more like book smart stuff. Or, well, no, I guess it just says thinking and observation, so...
Like, I think any, like, field of knowledge that is not covered by allure, force, fine, grit, or, you know, I think it, like, basically, yeah, it looks like most of the ideas here are book smart. What I'm thinking is, like, if we had a specialty along the lines of, like, monster biology, like, this cat would be able to observe things and, you know, sort of report back what it finds. Like, even if it can't treat anyone itself, if it understands, like, hey, that hole shouldn't be there.
Oh, yeah, so you're saying, like, being able to identify the problem with said monster.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think if we go with your idea, it might be a good background thing that, like, this cat has experience, like, living in the wild and is now using that skill in some way to help other people, or not a background, but it's not like book learning. It's like you had a mentor teach you how to navigate the wilderness, and you use that now to help people reach their monster healing destination.
Uh-huh. Ooh. I actually kind of like your idea a bit more of like the monster biology side of it. I think that works more for a background. I think it's a little more depth than just I can find things, you know, being able to like acutely identify a problem rather than just seeking out these monsters, because everybody's going to be looking either way. I think being, like you said, being able to know what to do is going to be more helpful to a group.
All right. I can't think of a better description than what it gives us here in the book of, like, monster biology.
Okay. We can, let's throw that down. If you think of a name later, we can throw that on there.
All right.
Now, would this be our background?
No, this would be a training.
Okay, it's just a training. Gotcha.
I know I threw out the idea of it as a background if we did your idea, but even that could be argued to be a training.
Yeah. What kind of background are we thinking? Because I feel like a background will help us think of trainings.
That's true. If nothing else, it'll rule out one option so that we can focus on the trainings.
Yeah. So our other +1 that we've decided on for now is force.
Right.
We could make a background off of that, or the examples it gives us.
I think for force, something along the lines of massage, because cats know how to do, like, a kneading massage, if nothing else.
True. They do be making biscuits.
Yep. Who knows? Maybe that's relaxing to something big and scaly.
Oh, true. Yeah, I mean, I guess we could just go with massage specialist. I think that would work. You know, they can apply pressure in the right points without needles, so not acupuncture.
Yeah, not acupuncture.
I'm trying to think of, like, a better, or not a better term, but, like, something that might help us differentiate, so we're not just pulling everything from the book.
I think if you said it was like a kneading masseuse, you know what I mean, like spelling need with a K.
Yeah. How do you spell masseuse?
How do you spell masseuse? I think it's MASSEUSE.
Hey, yep, that's right.
What do you know? I know some words.
You know more words than I do, and I'll stand by that fact.
That could be, but I'm not confident I know all the words.
God, read a book, and by a book, I mean a dictionary.
Who do you think I am? Oh crap, what's her name?
Be careful what you say, because when I was a kid, I did used to read dictionaries for fun.
There's someone from the Ghosts on a Train podcast whose character reads the dictionary for fun.
Oh.
Andril, that's the character's name. Played by Hannah.
Gotcha. Yeah, no. When I was younger, like, I want to say, like, from 8 years old to 10 years old, my parents had this ginormous, like, 1,000-page dictionary, that I, like, almost every night for, like, a year, I would go through and just read it.
Nice.
Now look at me. I can barely spell anything. I know what words mean, but by God, I don't know how to spell them.
Time will do that to you.
Yeah, truly. I haven't picked up a dictionary in years. So we have our force and our acuity.
Yep.
I guess we could just go down the line, or we can think of some other trainings that they might have. So,
or do you want to try and, like, come up with a background and then work from there?
I think that might be a good idea.
All right. So we already know our cat has studied the art of massage and is knowledgeable of monster biology. Wait a minute.
I'm waiting.
Is this Peter the Kaiju Reader?
No, we can't, right?
It cannot. Nope, absolutely not.
We just did a whole episode on nothing but Peter the Kaiju Reader.
This cannot be Peter the Kaiju Reader again.
This is a cat with a much gentler touch. You know, Peter has a gun, so...
Yeah. Peter helped people find weaknesses to exploit. This Peter identifies exploited weaknesses, and we can't call it Peter. We cannot call the cat Peter.
Okay, we'll figure out a name later, but yeah, no.
God, this entire month is going to be foils to Peter the Kaiju Reader. Like, last month we got the office cat foil. Now we're getting the cat that heals big monsters rather than teaches people how to fight them.
There you go. Okay, what is this background? Where does this cat come from? You know, what's the lore?
You know what would be funny? Since we can make it whatever we want. Isekai cat.
Oh my god. Okay, an isekai cat. So a cat from our world into the world of Ald-Amura. Okay? How would the cat be a highly trained professional in monster biology of this world then? Did it drop in and just immediately start studying?
It landed at college.
It landed in college. Okay. Okay, where under what skill do you think isekai would go into? Grit, maybe?
See, this is the problem with coming up with a funny haha joke. Is when you actually have to make it lore.
Oh my god, the justifications go crazy.
Yep.
God, I'm imagining this cat as like a now I've never seen this anime, so forgive me if I misname it. But I think it's like Handyman Saitama or something like that. Whereas like this plumber basically comes into this fantasy world, I think, and is just like helping people set up appliances and stuff. Like that's really the extent of it. So like maybe this cat comes.
Oh, Handyman Saito?
Saito, yeah.
Handyman Saito in another world.
I'm just imagining this cat like comes in with like this massage specialty. It's just like, if you guys want to perform surgery, you guys don't have anesthesia here, but you know we can calm these guys down a bit.
Oh hey, according to his Wikipedia, he also met Truck-kun.
He met the Truck-kun, or that's how he got transported?
Yeah, that's how he got transported.
Classic. Love that.
Anyway.
Let's see. I'm still trying to figure out what skill this would go under.
Maybe a lore? Maybe we're not familiar with this world's social customs?
Ooh, that's good, actually.
But also, maybe people here just understand cats.
Hmm.
But if that's the case, would it be a good allure option?
Yeah, if they just understand cats, then I don't think it's a good allure option. But...
Okay, so maybe they don't understand cats.
Yeah. You know, if we get isekai, maybe they're like, what is this creature? You know, never seen one quite like it. Because as far as we know, there are no cats in Ald-Amura.
There are now.
There are now. Okay. You know what? I like it. I'm going to put it. I guess isekai.
This reminds me, there's an actual play podcast I'm listening to right now where the game master was doing this character, and he was just like trying to do like a gritty noir type character, but the guy works in like the bureaucracy. He's like, the code compliance officers are programmed not to hear laughter. You know, trying to do like a gritty noir type bit there.
Uh-huh.
And one of the characters was like, wait, for real? I'm making a note of that on my character sheet. Intending to use that knowledge to his advantage later.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, that's great.
What is up, everyone? Welcome, I guess, to the mid-roll?
Yeah, the middle of the episode. Vaguely.
Approximately. So, hope you've all been enjoying hearing about the cat that's also a veterinarian. We've certainly enjoyed making it.
It's been fun.
But anyway, if you've enjoyed this episode, then you might want to, follow us and hear more about it. So, obviously, you can go to your podcast app of choice and just subscribe to the show, and it'll automatically start downloading episodes in the future. But if you want more information, you can go to badgertrove.com/literalcatpod to find where to find us on the internet. Places like Social media, our Tumblr, Blue Sky, Twitter, YouTube, all at Literal Cat Pod. Our TikTok at Literal Cat Podcast.
You can find our email too, literalcatpod@gmail.com. You can also find our Discord if you go to badgertrove.com/Discord. Hop on in, join some of the conversations happening on here, and, Joel and I might pop in from time to time, say hey.
Yeah. Also, if you are a patron of ours, by going to patreon.com/badgertrove, you will get access to the VIP sections of the Discord server.
Yep, less clutter there, so depending on how many people are talking, more likely that we'll see your message.
Yeah. I mean, right now, it's not exactly the busiest server in the world. We'll see your message, but,
But when we inevitably get super popular...
yeah. Any day now, we're gonna...
Any day now, we're gonna get our big break.
Yeah.
Other ways you can help out the show is through ratings and reviews. So if you're already subscribed on that little podcasting app of your choice, go ahead and leave a review, Tell us your thoughts,
Yep. In all seriousness, wherever you're listening to from, if it's got a review system, that is how our podcast ends up getting recommended to new listeners through that service. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube at this point, you name it. That is how we're going to get recommended to new listeners automatically. We do not exactly have a marketing budget, so aside from word of mouth, the best thing you can do for us is go onto your app and hit that little, 5 stars?
Yeah.
Or, 4 if we're not a 5-star podcast to you.
Yeah. 4 stars is fine. 5 stars, optimal,
Yep.
But be honest, don't embellish. Another way that you can help spread the word about us is the character sheets. We have a Dropbox full of every single character, every single cat that we've ever made, all fully playable and ready to download for free at bit.ly/literalcatpod. Take it to your GM. If you're the GM, take it to your players. Make it an NPC.
Yeah, the perfect addition to any game. Someone on Tumblr recently, they were talking about modern age. You don't necessarily have to add our cat to your game, but nobody's going to regret having a mob boss grandma in their lore.
Yeah, exactly. These characters can add some real depth to your world that you wouldn't have thought to make.
Exactly. So anyway, we've talked about the webpage, the email account, the Twitter, the Tumblr, the Blue Sky, the YouTube, the TikTok, the Discord. We've asked people to rate and review us. We've talked about the character sheets and the Patreon, I believe. So, really, that's everything you need to know about the show for now. Avalon, what about you?
You can find me in a lot of places online at Avalon Alchemist. Namely, you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Tumblr, and TikTok. I've not been posting a lot online, but, I'm getting back into the swing of things. You can follow me on the social media site of your choice. Joel, what about you?
Well, I've been in the middle of a rebrand, but at this point, I think my usernames are just about settled. We've got Omamer VT on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok, and I'm now Omamer with a 0 on Twitch and Tumblr. So if you don't understand the reason behind the switch, I'm now also VTubing on Twitch. So if you want to come see a abomination of slime and tentacles play Dragon Age games, then go over there. Eventually, we're going to be playing the Dragon Age RPG as part of that.
Oh, I'm so excited for that. Can't wait to see how it turns out.
Yeah, we got to make a literal cat in the Dragon Age RPG before we do that stream.
Absolutely.
But anyway, that's enough from us, I think.
Yeah, you've heard our piece. Get back to the episode. So, we've got Needing Masseuse, Monster Biology, and Isekai. So I'm going to put a B next to this so that we know it's the background.
Okay.
So we need a couple more trainings for Fine and Grit.
Yep. So what is a fine skill that a cat could have? Something they could be trained to do.
Cutting. Like making incisions with their claws.
That's true. Claws are the naturally occurring cat scalpel.
Mm-hmm. Now, they probably won't be able to use them for everything, which is why, it kind of fits in with the +0. But I think that's something that's, fine-tuned, essentially. If you're using a scalpel to cut somebody open, you gotta be pretty accurate.
Yep. All right.
You think that's it?
Yeah, I like it. It's a better explanation than anything I could come up with for why a cat would be out in the medical field.
All we have left is grit. What's the training for grit?
I feel like this should be like it says fighting spirit is an option. You know, cats have their own like fighting instincts, sort of. I feel like this would be a good opportunity to say something along the lines of intimidation.
Intimidation. Ooh. Okay. I dig it.
Yeah, like this cat has like training and using its natural instincts to get the big monsters to stand down.
And I think that fits too because like I guess maybe it's not necessarily that someone trained it to do this. Maybe it was something it had to train itself in when coming to this new world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it had to get away with that. I like that. That is our trainings and backgrounds.
Nice.
I think, do you think our stats are still good here?
Yeah, I think this still works.
Okay. So, for all y'all listeners, we have our force is a +1, needing masseuse. Fine is our 0 with claw scalpel. Grit is our other 0 with intimidation. Acuity is our other +1 with monster biology. And allure is our -0 with isekai as our background.
Yep. We have made an interesting character to start off with here.
Yeah. It's really the isekai part that's just that just really gets us right in there.
Yep.
Up next is signature equipment. Every monster care specialist carries the tools of their trade, and you're assumed to have essentials with you wherever you have your backpack, satchel, or bag. In addition to these common tools, your character has a piece of signature equipment, a special piece of kit that only you have that is unique in some way, either in its purpose or in its construction. You might have a wheelchair specifically designed for monster grappling, or a long-range medical injection spear made with the guiding feathers of the roa bird. This piece of equipment counts as a character ace that you can spend for a bonus to your rolls per session.
Interesting.
They explain that later. So I guess this is just something we make up as well, right?
Yeah.
There's no examples. We could look at page 29 for what aces are.
I mean, I know we gave ourselves the claw thing, but like, the cat scalpel is right there.
That's true. Now, here's the problem though. Could a cat wield a scalpel?
A cat could wield the cat scalpel.
Joel, didn't we talk about the problem we have of just putting cat in front of something and saying that
without
it
explaining
works?
how it works?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. The only thing we've ever explained the actual, like, practical function of is the cat tana.
Yeah. We gave that some actual juice in the lore of it. Now I feel like we could describe a cat scalpel. You know, maybe it's kind of like, I'm thinking of like the Assassin's Creed like hidden blade. Not like motion activated or anything, but like something that like is attached to its paw that it can like basically use its teeth to kind of like pull out and then use to cut, and then it can just kind of like push it back in like on a rock or something.
Okay, so it could be like, what's that type of blade?
I don't know.
A switchblade, that's what it's called.
Oh, a switchblade. Yeah.
Or a box cutter, or something like that.
Yeah, something that's retractable.
But the idea would be like the cat scalpel is a retractable scalpel that is attached to one of probably the cat's dominant paw.
Yeah.
I don't know how you identify a cat's dominant paw, but like this one has medical training, so someone probably figured that out.
So we got away with that one. That works.
Yeah. Now we're on to specialties.
Okay. You wanna take us away?
Yeah, sure. So under your character's name is a space to write their specialties. Your specialties is a sentence that lists 2 things your character can do that no one else can. These abilities and special skills that your character will always succeed at. You can write anything here, but should have a very specific utility.
Okay.
They can be mundane, magical, but try to keep it at least a little grounded. We've already failed at that part, I think.
Hey, it says they can be mundane or magical. Grounded is a little up in the air, ironically enough. But I think the way we have explained our stuff so far, I think fits.
You know, I think you're right, actually. I think we're getting away with this.
And you know what? Who's going to stop us?
I don't know how the game's creators are going to feel about us saying that we've isekai'd a cat into their world, but they'll get over it.
If you're a creator of Monster Care Squad, get at us with your opinions.
Yeah, we'll have you on in a future episode to cover one of your many other games. It's okay.
Yeah, there you go.
You can yell at us then.
It's just a 5-minute segment at the end of the episode.
We'll see. Anyway, I really would love to get, like, the representative for Sandy Pug Games on here.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
If you're listening.
Yeah, if you're listening, hit up that email.
Yep. Anyway.
So, let's see. Keep it as grounded as possible. So, yeah. It also gives us some examples down here of these specific abilities.
That's convenient.
So, we've got good examples and bad examples.
Okay.
Good examples include Salazar can jump higher than anyone else and identify any plant by smell. Kai can create a magical lantern and bake incredible pies. Iman can brew a night-eye potion and navigate by starlight. Pike can run faster than anyone he's ever met and knows more about monster leavings than anyone else. Drew can levitate for a short while and craft beautiful bracelets. Bad examples include Callaghan can kill anything he sees and run as fast as sound. Saz can live without food and knows everything about all forms of medicine. Kafka can survive underwater indefinitely and turn into an enormous bird. Samson can lift 100 tons and fire lightning from their eyes. Rusha can read every language in the world and teleport at will. Kiska can control minds and cause incredible agony at will. Jesus.
Yeah, that's why that would be a bad example. If
Yeah.
You're supposed to be a monster healer.
Yeah. I will say the Rusha can read every language in the world. I can see why that would be a bad example, because it's kind of generic, but also, like, it's cool. It's cool and specific, but
yeah,
it's not as grounded.
I think if it wasn't for the second part.
Yeah. If it wasn't for the teleport at will, I think it would be mostly fine. Like, every language in the world, but if you were like, Rusha knows...
Most languages, maybe.
Yeah, like, Rusha knows, like, 25 different languages. You know, make it something that is feasible. Because there are people in real life that know a lot of languages.
Yeah.
So, let's see. What can our character do? 2 things that no one else can do.
I think specifically because we're a cat, and because we've already got, like, intimidation training, right? I feel like we have an opportunity to say something that, like, along the lines of, our cat can communicate directly with most types of monsters.
Okay.
Or specifically, any mammalian monster.
Any mammalian monster. I like that. Yeah, I think that's fair. Because again, it's not, we can just talk to everything. And I think, yeah, that would be a survival tactic that it probably would have learned.
Or maybe that was just like, you know how every, like, isekai thing has, like, ooh, this character has, like, a cheat code for real life, and their cheat code is they can communicate with mammalian monsters or whatever. And what's the other thing we can do? Okay, what about, like, being able to climb most surfaces?
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I was thinking about something like that too. I was like, either climb surfaces or like fit into incredibly small areas.
That also good. I think both would be very fitting for the types of things that cats just kind of do anyway.
Yeah. And if we're in a party of other humanoid people, then I think that would definitely be something that only our character would be able to pull off.
Yeah, most people are not going to be as small as a cat. Most people probably don't have cat-like claws. So I think it would be fair to assume that we are the only person in our party that would be able to do those things.
Yes. We can technically only choose one specific.
That's true. So do you want climbing or fitting into small spaces?
I feel like climbing would come in useful more often than fitting into small spaces would.
Alright, let's do climbing then.
I think that's it for specialties.
Yes. All we had to do was write the 2-sentence thing.
Yeah. I fit it into 1 sentence because, I'm epic.
Well, most of the examples had 1 sentence anyway, so
yeah.
It was 1 sentence to describe 2 skills.
Next up, we have our moves. Monster Care Squad uses moves. Moves are like micro rules that you follow when your character does certain actions. Moves have 4 major parts: a context, a trigger, the rule, and the result. The context is what phase of play it is typically used in. The trigger is a small sentence that tells you when the rules of the move apply. The rule tells you exactly what steps to take when the move triggers, and the result shows you what happens afterwards. There's a diagram below that should help. Sorry, my cats are knocking stuff over. What are you guys doing out there? See them looking at me from the other room. Moves and how they trigger can be a little confusing for people new to the format. Moves trigger whenever the trigger says they do. If a move your character has says when you grapple the monster. Okay. This is all like specifics and stuff. Do we have specific moves?
There's no way they let us make up the... Okay, there's a move list in the next chapter.
Okay, cool. Does it tell us how many moves to pick? I know we have 5 slots on the character sheet, but sometimes they're like, choose 3 moves, and as you level up, you get more. Yeah.
Let's see if there's more information on the move list.
The very bottom of this is in a different section, though. It says, check out the move list and pick 2 that you think fit your character well. You will get more during play, and you have unrestricted access to a common pool of moves that every player can use.
Oh, okay, so...
Okay, this explains hold and forward.
So I think this is all still part of one section. It's just they're explaining that there's a lot going on within moves.
Yes.
Anyway, if you click on the move list thing under making a specialist, that's the next chapter, and we can check out the following list of moves and pick 2 that you think fit your character well. You get more during play. Okay, yeah, it says it right here again.
Oh, okay, cool.
You can read about the common moves in the diagnosis, synthesis, and symbiosis phase sections on page 34, 36, and 38. I assume that's if you're following along in the PDF or the book version. We are using monstercaresquad.web.app to do this right now, which is a free resource that anyone can just go and use if you want to play Monster Care Squad.
Yep, probably should have mentioned that at the beginning, but,
We're here now.
We are here now. So I guess we can just look through these moves real quick. There are a lot here.
Yes. So we know for sure anyone can learn the general moves.
Yes. Oh, right.
But for the, symbiosis, diagnosis, and synthesis type moves, we would need an appropriate skill that would let us do that.
Gotcha. Now, when it says appropriate skill...
We have skills, sort of. They're not called skills on the character sheet, but, our trainings and background are...
Yeah.
Skill. We have our specialties, we have our trainings and background. So if we have a move that works with one of our trainings, our background, or I guess our specialty, then we could make an argument that we could use that move.
Yeah.
We've got a +1 to acuity, so there's something right here on the first page that kind of looks interesting. Opened hidden eyes. With a moment to focus your breathing, you can always see through illusions and magical glamours.
Okay.
That one looks interesting to me. What do you have in your mouth is an interesting one below it. Although, I don't think it's a fitting one for our character, because we're not going to be big enough to grapple the monsters.
Yeah, no. Let's see. Open hidden eyes is very good. I like the being able to see through illusions and stuff. I know our acuity is technically monster biology, but I'm assuming some monsters...
the stat itself is a +1.
Yeah. I'm also assuming that maybe some monsters have the ability to cast illusions and glamours.
Yeah. I think this move doesn't actually require a roll. It just, if we have the chance to stop, look around, and focus on things, then we will realize we're in an illusion.
Gotcha. I'm down to put it on.
Okay.
I think it's a fun game.
We've got a lot of skills to go through here, so let's not use them all up right away.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to make a note of that one.
Yeah, okay. I'll mark it and then we'll keep going. Rider would be funny. A cat on a mount.
We've already made the Horsemaster General Cat.
Yeah.
Okay, there's one here I found called Free Climb. No ropes, no harnesses, no problem. The guide will set a track to match the difficulty of a climbable surface you're facing. When you try to approach it without assistance, roll plus force. On a 10 or more, you make some progress, advance the track. On a 7 to 9, you lose 1 supply. On a 6 below, you fall and reset the track.
Ooh.
I feel like if we combine this with our specialty that we can climb most surfaces, then this would give us the ability to at least try to climb any surface that would be otherwise too difficult for us, just as is.
Yeah. I like that. I think the specialties are something that you're supposed to be able to do just freely.
Yep. So like, what I'm saying here is, like, we can climb almost any surface. So I imagine anything with, like, sufficient grip for us to get our claws into, no problem.
Yeah.
Wooden wall. But, like, if we are trying to climb up a cliff face, and that cliff face has a bunch of dirt packed into it, then we're going to lose our purchase a lot. Unless we roll for it.
Okay, yeah. I like that.
And this would allow us to roll for any surface that would be deemed too difficult for us to just climb with our specialty.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's another possible answer. So we've got 2 pretty good ideas here. Well, there's one right below us. Oh, never mind. That's not what I thought it was. Look what I got. Looked interesting because, cats like presenting things to people. The description is, when things are looking bleak and the monster is raging from its wounds, you can produce just the right thing to get a little more time. I'm not sure, just based on the context, that is quite what I had in mind.
Yeah, no.
I don't think just randomly spitting up a hairball or dead rat would be a good use of 5 supply.
Probably not.
Which is what it costs to use this move.
Oof. 5 supply sounds steep, but I haven't played this game, so I guess I don't really know.
Yeah. Also, I just hate the idea of flavoring it as, like, we spit up a hairball to distract the monster.
Yeah.
Otherwise would have been funny, but, like, I don't think it fits the situation.
Yeah.
Let's see. Slink. When you move deliberately slowly to avoid detection, roll plus fine. That might be good. It's fitting for a cat. It's not really in line with our other fine skill, I'd think, but...
Yeah. I like it. I think Slink is pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think we need to, like... It's a general skill, so we don't really need to have, like, an existing skill to back it up, but...
Okay. What's funny?
Oh, I just saw one of the skills is called Union Strong.
Nice.
Let's see, there's one called Let's Go Fishing. Oh, it requires a fishing rod.
I don't think we have the cat fishing rod.
Nope, we've already invested in the cat scalpel.
Ooh, I've seen this before. I think that fits. And it's acuity.
Through your travels, you've seen a monster acting the way this one is acting now, and you have a good idea what it might do next. When you say what that is, roll plus acuity. On a 10 plus, you are right, and the monster moves down its track by 1. On a 7 to 9, the monster does the same thing, but the result is totally different, and the monster becomes more angry.
I think that fits really well, though, because we have the monster biology, we have the...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like... We have the background set of, like, we came into this world and we had to figure all this stuff out by traveling.
Yep, I like that.
I'll jot it down.
So we've got Open Hidden Eyes, Free Climb, and I hope this... No, I've seen this before. And Slink. So we can only take 2, obviously, so we need to narrow this down somehow.
Oh, I forgot we could only take 2. I was like, let's just fill it out. I feel like Free Climb makes the most sense for one of the ones to take.
Free Climb is good, but it's also a supplement to something that we'll usually be able to do anyway, except in some extreme situations.
Yeah. That's why I was like, maybe we could save it for later.
Yeah. I feel like I've seen this before. Also a good skill, But if we are new to this world, then I'm not sure it's a good starting skill.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Maybe not the best to start out with. I do like the opened hidden eyes coming from, like, the isekai aspect of, like, oh, this can't happen. Like, come on, let's be real here.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Taking these two off. Do we want to go with that then?
With Slink and Open Hidden Eyes, I think that works.
Okay. All right. So those are our two moves. So I think we can move on to the next section here. Let's see. Hold and forward, two terms that trip people up a lot in games that use this format. Okay. Okay. I think this is just explaining that part of the system.
For the audience's benefit, Powered by the Apocalypse games very often have hold and forward. So what this is explaining is basically hold is the result of a roll. So like whatever benefit you get from rolling the dice, that is your hold. You spend your hold to get the perk of the move. Whereas forward is a bonus on your next roll.
Yes.
And then there's also ongoing in some games, which is the same thing as forward, but it lasts until the scene ends instead of just the one time.
They're really good mechanics. I enjoy the hold forward stuff. Actually, recently got to learn about all that playing my first Powered by the Apocalypse game.
I don't know if we can call
Well,
I don't know if we can call that playing your first. I mean, it is, but you know.
Yeah, it's vaguely a Powered by the Apocalypse game.
It was using Powered by the Apocalypse mechanics. That's all I can say about it.
This next section says it's about monster gifts. The monsters of Ald-Amura are generous, kind, and grateful beings. They are known to grant boons and magic to people they're close to or those in need. It's considered a great honor to receive these gifts, though monsters are by no means stingy, and many of the people you run into in Ald-Amura will have a monster gift of some kind. There's no special name or title for people with monster gifts. It's just expected that if you live around the same monster for long enough, and you're a generally good person, sooner or later they will grant you some of their power. When you level up after healing a monster, you may choose to upgrade an existing move to its monster gift form. Okay. So I don't think this is stuff.
Yeah, it's part of the move section still.
Okay. Cool.
So, yeah, it's basically just explaining there is a way to upgrade every single move in the game, and that is by being nice to the monsters.
Yep. So don't be a dick about it.
So the only thing we still have to do is name and pronoun this cat.
All right. What's a good name for a cat who has been isekai'd?
I believe this will be our third isekai cat.
Is it?
Yeah, we had the game that was specifically about isekai, then we had the isekai cats Pokemon.
Yep. And now this.
One moment, what I'm trying to find is Ald-Amura is a world that Sandy Pug Games has literally created a grant to get people to make supplementary materials. So what I'm wanting to see if I can find is some information about like how to name characters.
Oh.
That either they came up with or somebody else did.
We do technically have some examples in the section, the specialties section.
In the making a specialist, we've got specialties.
So Salazar, Kai, Amon, Pike, Drewu, Callaghan, Saz, Kafka, Samson, Brusha, and Kiska. If we name this cat Kike, like Pika, totally not related to a famous monster catcher game.
I don't know. Here's the thing. This cat was not from this world, so we actually have a little more freedom on naming it.
True.
You want to go to the warrior cat name generator?
You know what? Let's do it. I love that when I type in warrior, basically the first two things that show up are warrior cats and warrior cat name generator. We've already got some bangers here.
What do we got?
So we have Aspen Kit, Nettlepaw, Fawn Star, Tiger Wish, Fox Kit, Willow Ears, Broken Flower, Brave Gust, Whispering Bush, and Mellow Brook.
Nettlepaw is kind of interesting.
Nettlepaw is interesting. Also, I love here it says warrior cat names, other names, and clan names. Other names, we get Imric, Blue, Nox, Lila, Wolf, Speckle, Ripple, Grass that grows in sunlight, Pond when ice melts, and Shooting Star.
We'll have to get Finn to explain that later.
Yeah.
Although Wolf the Cat would be an interesting name for sure.
Wolf the Cat would be pretty good, actually. Do we want to go with that? Wolf?
Sure, why not?
All right. Pronouns. What are we thinking? Wolf seems like a he, him kind of name. Either a he, him, or they, then.
Maybe a he, they, then.
We can't keep making he, theys.
Says who?
Says me, the he, they on this podcast.
All right, fine.
We can make this one a he, they, but we gotta stray from that in the next episode.
Stray.
Yeah.
The game famous for being about a cat.
Let's go. I got that quick wit, because I totally meant to make that joke. Totally wasn't a coincidence.
It's okay.
Alright, there you go. We got Wolf the Cat, Monster Care Squad down.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, now, here's the thing. We broke only the rule that assumed that we were, some creature actually qualified to be... I think the expectation here is... One moment, where was it? Introduction, playing Monster Care Squad, starting a game. No, was it? Under Welcome to Ald-Amura. I was looking in here to see if there was anything about naming people. Oh, wait, there is, actually. Language and naming conventions.
Oh, hey.
People tend to take the names of their partners when they marry or bond and add them as a suffix to their own. Sandra Bliss and Kyla Suntouch would become Sandra Bliss Suntouched and Kyla Suntouch Bliss. They actually do have some, more normal-ish names. But also, everything I've read about this game, there is no mention of, humanoid creatures at all. So,
yeah.
It's your humans, and you've got your humans, who you play as, and then your monsters, who you take care of. Except for this one cat.
Except for this one cat that got isekai.
Yeah. So, I'm going to say we broke a rule by playing as a cat.
Yeah.
But the fact that we get specialty gear and we can choose the nature of our training really made it so that we could actually choose skills a cat could perform in order to complete this.
Yeah. Not really many rules broken. Just the typical not meant to play as a cat rule.
Yep.
Pretty good. I think we did a real good job of sticking this to as literal of a cat as we can.
Yeah, this may be our most literal cat in a while.
Yeah. There's nothing crazy going on with this cat. It has a couple pretty cool skills, but definitely stuff that a cat could be trained to do.
Yep.
All right.
I think that's everything. So, yeah, that's Monster Care Squad's character creation system. I think this is a pretty cool concept for a game. I don't know that I'll ever be able to, run a game of this, but, I'm never going to say never. If I have the opportunity, I'm jumping it,
Mm-hmm.
But that's enough about this. You've spent the entire episode hearing about this. So, Avalon, how about do you have a cat pun for us?
Of course I have a cat pun for you. I'm actually a little proud of this one. I think this one's kind of funny.
Oh, okay.
What is a cat's favorite dessert?
I've got nothing.
It is tiramisu. There you go.